We all carry within us a hidden side. It's not necessarily evil or dangerous, but it is inconvenient. It's the part of ourselves we'd rather not see, the part that contradicts the image we've built of who we think we are. Carl Jung called this the shadow, and the darker aspects of it he referred to as the dark shadow. The dark shadow includes all the traits, urges, and feelings that we've repressed because they were unacceptable to our families, culture, or to our own idealized self-image. Things like anger, jealousy, greed, manipulation, selfishness, lust, and cruelty. But instead of disappearing, these traits get buried in the unconscious and they don't stay quiet. They come out sideways. They show up in what Jung called projection, when we unconsciously attribute our own disowned qualities to other people. This is the first key to understanding the dark shadow. We don't see it in ourselves, we see it in others. It's like looking in a mirror but thinking it's a window. Let's take an example. Say you meet someone who is arrogant and you instantly feel intense dislike. You might say, "I can't stand people like that." But if the emotional charge is strong, it's often not just about them, it's about you. It's likely that you've disowned your own capacity for arrogance. Maybe you were raised to always be humble, or perhaps you were punished for speaking up. So you buried your assertiveness, you labeled it bad. But now when you see it in someone else, it enrages you. That's a projection. Now here's the thing, projection isn't just about seeing something in someone else. It's about not being able to see that same thing in yourself. And, this blindness actually prevents us from becoming whole. Why is this important? Because every time we project our dark shadow onto others, we give away our power. We lose the chance to know ourselves. And without self-awareness, we keep repeating patterns, blaming others and, sabotaging our own growth. Projection often shows up in relationships. We may be attracted to someone's confidence only to later accuse them of being controlling. Or, we may demonize a boss for being manipulative while refusing to acknowledge our own passive-aggressive tendencies. Every relationship becomes a stage where our unconscious material gets played out. By tracking these emotional reactions, we can begin to reclaim our shadow. Pay attention to emotional triggers. Strong emotional reactions, whether anger, disgust, envy, or even obsessive attraction, are signals. Ask yourself, what exactly about this person bothers me? Is it their selfishness, their dominance, their indifference? Write it down. Describe it as vividly as you can. Then turn the mirror towards yourself. Ask, where might this live in me? Even a small trace of it. Where do I act like this in ways I may not want to admit? So remember that the shadow is not literal, it's symbolic. You might find yourself thinking, but I'm not cruel like that person, and that's true. But maybe, just maybe, you have moments of emotional coldness. Or perhaps you suppress your anger so deeply that it leaks out as withdrawal. The shadow isn't a carbon copy, it's a reflection. The real question isn't, do I do exactly what they do? But rather, where does that energy show up in my life, even in subtle ways? Now take a moment to reflect on your upbringing. What traits were punished or rewarded when you were growing up? Were you told to always be the nice one? Did you learn that anger was dangerous? Or maybe you picked up the idea that power was abusive or that sexuality was somehow shameful. These early lessons, they really shaped the shadow. What we're not allowed to be, we banish. And what we banish, we later project. It's important to own the projection with compassion. Owning your shadow isn't about shaming yourself. It's about saying, yes, I have this in me too. When you reclaim your shadow traits, you're not endorsing bad behavior. You're simply integrating reality. You are human. You are not just light. You are also dark. And honestly, the more you own this, the more conscious choice you gain over your actions. So transform, don't repress. The goal isn't to indulge the shadow, but to transform its energy. Your rage can become boundary setting. Your envy can reveal your deepest desires. Your selfishness might show you where you need self-care. Every shadow trait has a gift within it, but only if you face it. Let me give you a personal example from the book Meeting the Shadow. One writer shared how he constantly criticized others for being manipulative, especially in relationships. Over time, through journaling and reflection, he realized that he himself used charm and compliance to control outcomes, especially to avoid conflict. His manipulation was just better disguised. Once he saw this, his judgment softened, and with that came the power to change. This is, really the essence of shadow integration. We move from judgment to understanding, from blame to responsibility, and from fragmentation to wholeness. When you integrate your dark shadow, something pretty amazing happens. You stop being ruled by the unconscious. You become less reactive, more grounded, and honestly, more authentic. You gain access to parts of yourself that were hidden. Your confidence, your sensuality, your assertiveness, your boldness. Carl Jung said, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." So, the next time someone triggers you, ask not just what's wrong with them, but what might this be showing me about myself? Your shadow is not your enemy. It's your teacher, and by facing it, you reclaim your wholeness, your power, and your freedom.